Hi, I'm Daniel Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is a holistic financial strategist and founder of the Saving Grace Money Method, no other than Miss Grace Del Rey.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm so excited to share what I've learned over the life of my life's work, actually.
Yes, definitely. And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Grace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And today, let's talk about the hidden debt problem among high earners and how to fix it. So tell us.
Well, it's interesting to me, it's because I also suffered from it. Like, it's not like, oh, I can point fingers at other people. I started with myself and realizing that I kept getting into debt cycles. I would make tons of money and then, you know, also rack up the credit card debt. And it becomes one of those things that you become absent-minded about the spending because it went on a credit card. So you're not seeing how it accumulates. And the next thing you know, you've got another big bill. And you think, oh, well, I've got all this money coming in, I'll just pay it off. And you do. And then you find yourself getting into that debt cycle again. And after a while, it gets like cumbersome because you want to start doing other things with your money and with your life. But when you keep getting into that debt cycle, it hinders that. And what most people tend to not see is when you continue to hold high credit card debt, um, and you're paying those interest rates. And some people are paying interest rates upwards of 21 to 29% to 31% on these credit cards. And they are actually allowing the credit cards to steal their future because they can end up easily paying three to like $12,000 a year in credit card interest alone. And this is not like a one-off. This is like the norm for the average American. There was a poll that it was like roughly around 4,000 to 5,000, and I think that's low for people living on the East Coast or West Coast. Um, but they are paying easily $4,000 to $5,000 a year in interest on their credit card debt that they keep not paying off, and they're just kind of like, well, I'm making my payments. Um, and what that ends up doing is that money that you could have been putting towards your your future self, your savings, you could take that same $4,000 or $5,000 that you're paying for credit card for the glamour of using their card for the ease and effort and put it into your savings. And in 10 years, you'd have, $60,000, $70,000 not having to work extra hours just by putting that money away and not being in debt and not carrying in debt. So it's fascinating what when you start to rethink things and you're going, wait, what am I doing here?
Yeah. So let's start with the central contradictions. How can someone have a six-figure salary and still be drowning in debt? What's the fundamental disconnect that makes it possible?
The what makes it possible is that you have this false sense of I'll just be able to take care of it because I've got the money coming in. I'll be able to take care of it. And like, for example, I've had a couple of different clients that are in the service industry as lawyers and dentists and medical doctors. And they have these beautiful degrees and they've spent all this time curating their service, what they provide in terms of whether it's a practitioner, a doctor, or a dentist or a lawyer. And they've taken all this time to really get the knowledge and learn how to practice their service, right? And they will go to the banks and the banks will give them credit cards, they will give them loans, and they will get them going in their business, which is great, except they didn't really learn how to manage their business, nor did they learn how to manage their life in terms of having all this money. And that debt and their lifestyle starts to add up when they're not conscious of like, where am I choosing to spend my money? Because now I've got all this money, extra money, I can do anything with it. And it is true, you can do anything with it, but if you're not mindful, that debt just builds up. And also, fundamentally down below, if you don't believe that you're worth having money, that it came too easily, you'll end up giving it away. You'll let people steal from you. You'll let people um, say, oh, well, you can pay for dinner because you have the money. I don't know how many times I've seen that happen to clients where they go out with friends and the friends expect them to pay for dinner. And it's like, wait a minute, we all decided that we're going out to dinner together. Why couldn't we share? And then they go, oh no, like no, that you make more than me, so you should pay for it. It becomes like oh, well, let's talk about what's really happening here.
Is this driven more by reckless spending, or is it immense, often invisible pressure to maintain a certain professional or social image?
I think it's a combination. Sometimes it's frivolous spending, or it's not even your spending. Sometimes you have a partner or a person that your boyfriend or girlfriend or your significant other that has a spending habit that because you love them and you might not even be dealing with your own value and you're thinking you're supporting them by giving them access to all the money that you're making, thinking that this is going to solve all their problems, and in which actually just enables them to like be more abusive to some degree. And what else happens is that you get lost in it, right? Like you get lost in like, oh, well, there's this and this, there's so many choices. And so it's about really slowing down and figuring out what is really going to serve what you're trying to do in your business, as well as what is going to serve you, what you're trying to do in your life, and become more mindful of what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I spending this money? It's not to say that you can't go and buy yourself new shoes or nice shoes. It's about like, did I need 50 of them?
Hmm.
Maybe not, right? Maybe I
Yes.
needed five. But it's actually looking at it and thinking about, well, what do I really need, and where can this money better, the flow of money better serve me and serve what I'm trying to do with my life and with my family.
Interesting, Miss Grace. And how much of a role does career burnout play? Are high earners using retail therapy or a luxury experience to compensate for a job that drains them, creating a vicious cycle?
Oh yeah. I had one of my clients was a sweet woman, but she was a shopaholic, and she would easily earn, 6 or 7 figures a month, and she would easily spend 6 to 7 figures in shopping a month. And she would have reasons for it, like I can't wear the same shirt or pants. But if you looked in her closet, she only had white shirts. So her costume that she wore to all of her um, outings at the fancy restaurants that she met her clients at was a white, crisp shirt with a pair of blue jeans and, a spectacular handbag and shoe footwear by name only. And she looked fabulous in them by far, yes. But would I be able to tell the difference between one shirt or the other? Maybe my uneducated eye would not. And I'm not guessing other people would be paying attention to it either, but she would be like, "Oh, well, I'm going to return them. And I only wore them once." And it was like, "No, my friend, why do you need to spend all of that? Like you're making just enough to cover your bills, and then you're overindulging, which now is putting you into further and further debt, and then you're having to have family members bail you out every single time." And it's like she didn't want to look at, and it's hard to look at, like that feeling of emptiness like I'm not enough. Going into those emotional places and realizing like the reason I'm spending so much is because I don't feel like I'm worthy. I'm going to prove that I'm worthy by putting on fancy clothes and going to fancy restaurants and having expensive cars and products. Because if I look really good and that everybody thinks I look really good, that must mean I'm important. I must mean something to them. And at the end of the day, it may have that effect for a moment, but in the longevity of it, not really.
Interesting, Miss Grace. For high earners in cities like New York, San Francisco, or London, is a high income simply a prerequisite for a middle class life or making savings and debt freedom nearly impossible?
No, I think that it depends on where you want to spend your time and how you want to be mindful. So if you find yourself in that challenging position where you're seeing like, oh, I keep creating this debt, um, and it's a vicious cycle, and like the answer is like, I'll just earn more. Um, Well, yes, and that's true. You can earn more. It can motivate you to earn more and more and more. But when does it become enough? And you have to ask that question to yourself, when is enough? Do I really need that new version of that phone or that purse or that thing? What really is going to fill my cup up? What connection do I need to make to another human being that's going to light me up versus spending on one more thing that is trivial and not going to really like take your life to the next level. And that's not to say that things aren't lovely and you don't want to have them. Like I am not one to go, oh, be a minimalist. That is not what I'm advocating. I'm advocating being able to take a step back and really observe what's the under the drive underneath you to want to purchase something that's outside of your ability to maintain your life or to start saving and being able to invest in your future, whether it's investing in a course or investing in actual investments where your money would grow and you could then at a future date have money set aside for your future self in whether it's retirement or taking an amazing vacation. I mean, how lovely would it be to be able to take a month off and go and explore the world and make connections with others? And that's possible if you make that your desire and that's what you're going to put your money aside for instead of the extra coffee or the extra handbag or the extra pair of shoes or like starting to figure out what it is that you really want to spend time with, whether it's having that fabulous vacation with your family, like if you have a family of 4 and you want to be able to like really take the time off to connect with them instead of always having to be on the run, what would that look like?
Miss Grace, is there assumption that because someone is smart and successful in their field, they automatically understand personal finance? Is there a major blind spot?
Yeah. Yeah, because I do find like there are people that they're highly educated and sometimes they go, "Oh, I can figure this out myself." And you're like, "Yeah, you can actually figure it out yourself, but you're going to have to take time to actually take courses to figure it out, or you can ask people that already have the knowledge to pay them to share their knowledge with you." But also, there's a lot of shame involved with money because to some degree, it's like, oh, you should already know how to do this. And unless your parents were like incredibly smart with money and taught you how to be smart with money too, you're not going to know. It's like there was a time when my son had challenges reading and he was very observationalist. He looked and he saw all the other all the other kindergartners already knew how to read. They looked like they were doing better than him, And he was like getting, you could see that he was like spinning a little bit out of control with like, they all know how to do it and I don't. Something's wrong with me because I don't know how to do it. And he didn't realize everybody had to learn, and they learn at their own pace. And learning how to manage your money is a learned habit. It's not something that you innately just pick up on. Some people got lucky and had parents or guardians or people that they were able to teach them how to manage their money well at the beginning of their life. And there's other people that had no training. Their parents were living hand to mouth every day, and in survival mode. And that's what they learned how to do. And that's what they continue to do. So it's learning how to not only see what patterns you were taught, but how you can then actually take steps to break that pattern and create a new pattern for yourself and for your family and for your legacy, moving forward, by really taking stock of like what is true and what's not true. Do I have to work really, really hard to earn money, or can I find ways to make money flow easily and effortlessly?
I like that, Miss Grace. Earn money effortlessly. Oh, how can
Right?
we
Doesn't
do
it feel
that?
better? Yes. Yes, it can happen. It
Yes,
can flow.
put that in your mind first. So, Miss Grace, as a holistic financial strategist and founder, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
My short-term goals is just getting the word out of how powerful people are in their own rights, in their own mind. If you are the guardian of what is in your mind and what is coming out of your mouth, you actually can enroll the world to create your own space, create your own life in a way that is aligned with what you're wanting to create, and things fall into place faster when you're able to speak your truth, when you're able to also like stop the negative talk of like I think like one of the old beliefs that I had was you had to work hard for your money, meaning I had to work 80 hours. It wasn't going to be handed to me. I had to go knocking on the doors, versus the way I live now is money flows easily and effortlessly to me in expected and unexpected ways. And the more I speak into that, the easier clients come to me, the easier opportunities open. And I want to share that with as many people as I can, because the truth is, we are powerful beings and we have the right to create heaven on earth. So that's my short term goal. My long term goal is to create a legacy where I can help everyone rise up and make a planet worth living on, that they feel um, won and amazed and enlightened and creating gold light wherever they go.
Yes. Good luck to your goals, Miss Grace. And for sure, I will say that always to myself from now on. I will earn millions of money effortlessly. Is that the right thing to do?
Yep, it flows easily and effortlessly in expected and
Yes.
unexpected ways, right?
Yes, in unexpected ways. I like that, Miss Grace. Thank you for empowering us and good luck to your goals and more success. What would be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to be a financial as a founder?
One piece of advice is don't, I would say it's more about taking a breath and uh, don't allow your prior mistakes to dictate your future. So if you made a mistake and obviously if you've created a debt cycle, to not say, well, I'll always be bad with money, or make that a belief that carries you forward, because those mistakes got you, they were learning lessons and stepping stones to the greatness that you're becoming. And it's part of the process. And then by identifying that it's part of the process and actually identifying what you learned from it and where you can grow from it is powerful. And you can dust yourself off, pick yourself back up, and you can supersede anything that you've ever thought you could do before by just purely believing in yourself and asking for guidance everywhere. Asking people like, what do you do? How did you do it? What's next? What's next? And figuring out your next step um, through understanding that you are becoming your next best self.
Becoming the next best of yourself. Definitely. And thank you for that advice, Miss Grace. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
Oh, I love Gay Hendricks' The Big Leap. And the reason I love his Big Leap is because it asks us to like look at how long can you stay happy and stay in your happy zone before you create something that takes you out of it. As simple as like today you're having a happy day and you think, oh, but I've got something to do on such and such day, or tomorrow's Monday. And that instantly takes you out of your happy vibration and into a lower vibration. And the question is, how long can you sustain in the happy place? Because as more as you can sustain in that happy place, the more it's easy to manifest and attract the fun stuff, the good stuff. So that it's a remarkable book. It's really worth reading.
It's a remarkable indeed. And thank you for that recommended book, Miss Grace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if someone in this situation, what is the very first, most actionable step they should take to regain control before even looking at the spreadsheet?
I guess really just there's actually a fun book I wrote um, that it's called Small Wins. I mean, Small Steps, Big Wins. Small Steps, Big Wins, and you can actually find it on my website and purchase it there. And it's a little game of redirecting how you spend so that you can be mindful every day of where you're spending your money, not out of judgment, because as you judge yourself you kind of obviously you bring yourself out of your happy zone when you start judging yourself, but actually being just aware of like, oh, I have choice. These $5 that I'm spending today, or if you're going to a fancy coffee shop, and there's nothing wrong with buying a coffee, but then or fancy coffee and some pastries. But the question is if you did that once in a while, great. But if you're doing it every day, if you made a small change, how much would that money, if you were able to redirect it to something that you want to do, like for example, take a month off and go explore Bali and the Indonesian islands. Like if you wanted to do that, what would it take and what different things would you get to alter so that you can see daily those little changes add up to a big win, and how quickly you will actually create that experience for yourself by taking small actions every day.
Interesting, Miss Grace, and thank you for your all knowledge that you are shared to us today. So before we wrap up our discussion, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my Abstract Essay is already in fifth season. Abstract Poetry in second season. I'm a Book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in third season, a movie 101 review, and food 101 in its fifth season too. Geography 101, love letters, movie 101, and music are in fourth season. And my baby podcast, Law 101, mental health and Bible verses 101, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in second season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Grace, once someone has climbed out of this hidden debt, what unexpected strength or financial clarity do they often gain that makes them even more powerful and successful in the long run?
Their perseverance, their self-confidence in terms of like taking a situation that might be negative and turning it into a positive situation. Because if you're climbing out of, whether you're climbing out of $5,000 or you're climbing out of $100,000, um, it is momentous and it's changing your habits. And if you can change your habits in one place, you can change it in every place in your life.
Interesting, Miss Grace, and thank you so much again for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So, can you please invite the listeners to support your advocacy, your projects, or your business itself?
Thank you so much, Daniel. I really appreciate this opportunity. You've been a lot of fun, and thank you.
Yes. So, where do people can reach you, Miss Grace?
You can reach me at sgbsconsulting.com. That's sgbsconsulting.com. And there is you can schedule a meeting with me. I would love to talk to you more about money.
Yes, money, come to me, and I will earn money, millions, effortlessly, in what? In unexpected way. Is that the correct thing?
Expected and unexpected ways. Yeah.
Expected and unexpected ways. Miss Grace, thank you so much. Yes, people, let's support Miss Grace Del Rey, because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering financial advocacy will rise. So, Miss Grace, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Modcom people, see you soon.